Hi, good evening, everyone. We'll start the session now. Let me share my screen. The last session, we discussed about the just introduction to the software testing, right? No? We discussed about the introduction to the software testing. So these are the topics we discussed. What are the topics? This is the first chapter in our course, software testing. The introduction is software testing. What are the concepts here? We have to discuss software testing, advantages of the software testing, difference among the error, defect, bug, and failure. So some of the major activities in software company: coding, testing, defect reporting, debugging, bug fixing. Then types of software testing. One is manual testing, other one is automation testing. Okay. In that, I explained very beginning concept, software application. Generally, software application means set of instructions or programs to perform particular business transactions in a system. So what are the different kind of applications which you are going to see in general? ICICIbank.com, Facebook.com, Zoom online meeting application which you are using, Notepad, calculator. If I take an example, ICICIbank.com. So which business purpose this application? Banking transactions to perform. So in IT industry, the business area which we are going to call as domain. Domain means in IT industry. So domain means generally business area. So banking domain. The client to whom we developed software. To whom we developed software. That is client. Here I say bank. Right. Now, so yesterday one diagram I shown to you about the software testing. Generally, in software company, assume that Infosys, where software developed. But in this company, to develop the software, they need user requirements or client requirements. So client is ICICI Bank. What purpose, what type of transaction they want to do in the application, that kind of information this company has to know. So what type of transaction they want to perform, they have to provide for a software company. Now ICICI Bank says that new customer registration, change password, view account summary, bill payment, fund transfer, like this. These are the different kind of transactions they want to perform. For that, they need software. Those are the inputs for the software company to develop. So as per that, so developers are going to write the programs in order to develop the software. Whenever software developed, directly the software not given to the client. In a present scenario, every organization will maintain separate testing team. There were two separate testing team. Now this testing team will going to test the software. But whenever they want to test the software, okay, the client requirements they have to know it is. Okay, for this review on project related documents. So based on the client requirements, first testers has to go for the scenarios identification, then prepare the test cases. So as per that, we do testing, we perform testing, test the developed software as per client requirements. software testing we are going to come. So see, whichever requirements are given by the client, those requirements this development team implemented correctly or not in the application. Further, they go for the testing it is. Understand? So that is software testing. When we are going to miss once software developed that application given for us, we have to go for testing it is. So how we can define software testing? It is a process used to identify correctness, completeness, and to measure quality of developed software. It is a process used to identify correctness, completeness, and to measure quality of developed software. In other words, we can say software testing performed to ensure client requirements in developed software. Software testing is a process used to identify correctness, completeness, and to measure quality of developed software, or software testing performed to ensure client requirements in developed software, or technically we can say software testing is a combination of verification and validation. Verification and validation. Right. Now, how we can define the quality software? From the users, so here, from producer point of view, when application fulfilled with all the client requirements, and end user point of view, when application fit for use, then it is considered as quality software. Okay. Is it clear? Yesterday up to here I explained an advantage of software testing also I explained is it will help to deliver reliable software to the customer. It will reduce maintenance cost for a project. It will help to stay in business. It will help to deliver bug-free software to the customer. Any newcomers are there here today class? Is it clear everyone? Kumari, Vaishali, Swati, clear? Darshan.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Okay. These are the topics yesterday I explained now. Today we are going to discuss about the what is software testing. So advantages. Okay, now as class 2, what I am going to explain to you here, the difference among the error, defect, bug, and failure. Difference among the error, defect, bug, and failure. Difference among the error, defect, bug, and failure. Now, first one, if I go for the error, what is meaning of an error? How we can define? It is a human mistake. It is a human mistake which is identified in source code of the application. It is a human mistake which is identified in source code of the application. Right, source code of the application. It is a human mistake which is identified in source code of the application. Example, you may hear this one, right? Syntax error, logical error, like this. Syntax error, logical error. Sir, we are new to the programming side. What is the meaning of the syntax error, logical error? Okay. So example, the actual requirement is like this. What requirement is that means first two numbers they want to add. With that sum, I want to multiply the third number it is. That is what the requirement, actual requirement. First two numbers I want to go for the addition. Then I want to multiply. So one developer is written like this. When I ask this is my requirement, developer is written like this. A star B, then plus C is given. Another developer A plus B star C is given. Here, both developers did mistakes. Developer 1, developer 2. Both are did mistakes. Now, can you guess which one comes under syntax error? Which one comes under logical error? Can you write in the chat box, man? See, we are going to discuss A to Z from the scratch to advanced level concepts also will be covered to you. So try to focus, try to spend and try to participate in the class. That's it. Yes. Developer one is syntax error. Yes. Developer one is syntax error. Okay. What about others? Logical error, developer two, logical error. If you have any concern, okay, this is DURGASOFT. Don't say. Students may developer to logical error. Right. Now, some wrong answers I got. So very first one is it is comes under logical error. Second one is syntax error. Okay, so some students who are not given the answer, that means they are not clear about it, right? So how we can say it is a logical error? How we can use a syntax error? So logical error means try to understand my here. So logical error means the given instruction is understandable. Understand me? Given instruction, that means given instruction is understandable, but to generate wrong output. So given instruction is understandable, but it will generate wrong output. It will generate a wrong output. Because here addition I want to, they given the multiply operator. Whereas syntax error means I give an open bracket. Where is the closed bracket? System not able to understand it is. Everything you have to provide the instruction. That means given instruction is not understandable. Given instruction is not understandable. Given instruction is not understandable. That is comes under syntax error. Right? No? Clear? Okay. So generally, if this is the application is there. Right click, will have the view page source. The code level, if they identified any mistakes here, that we are going to call error. Now, in the beginning class, I said, we are going to test the code level or page level. We do testing as a testing unit, the page level, not in the code level. Source code, we never going to testing as a testing unit. So you should not use the vocabulary like error. Developers will use vocabulary. Okay, that is the error we are going to call. Right. Second one is defect. Whereas defect can also called as an issue or incident or fault. Defect can also called as an issue or incident or fault. Defect can also called as an issue or incident or fault. So what it is, let me explain first with example. Now if I go for the calculator, whatever software you want to test, whatever software you want to test, that we are going to call AUT, application under test. Or SUT, system under test also we are going to call. Application under test or system under test, that is calculator. Now here some functionality I want to test. What is the functionality scenario here? Multiplication functionality I want to test. Multiplication functionality where I want to go for testing. So what is the procedure if I want to test the multiplication functionality? So first I need to click on C. Then I want to click on 9. Then I want to click on star. I want to click on 5. Then I click on equal to button. If I do like this, what is the output we expect here? Expected result 45, right? Expected result 45. Now I'm testing the calculator here. click on C, click on 9, click on multiplier, click on 5, click on equal to. We got the 45. Whatever value we got in application, that we are going to call actual result. So what is the test status here now? Pass or fail? Pass. Okay. Why it is passed? Because whatever actual result we got in calculator, also 45. So that means expected and actual result both are matching. That's why test is passed. Let us assume that instead of 45, we got the 14 here. We got the 14 sub. Assume that 14 we got. So you are expecting here 45, but we got the 14. Assume that 14 actual result. Then, so what is the status? Failed. What is the status? Failed. Okay. Why it is failed? Why it is failed? Because expected actual both are not matching. That's why it is failed. So that is the vocabulary we have to use. What a defect means? It is a deviation. It is a deviation between expected to actual results. It is a deviation between expected to actual results in AUT application under test. AUT means application under test, not in the code level, page level. Doesn't mean application under test. It is a deviation between expected to actual results in AUT application under test. So now I will show one practical scenario here. If I go for this application here, register link, I'm going to click. When I click on the register link, what is your expectation here? When I click on the register link, registration form should be opened, right? I will click on the register link. Now registration form is opened. Registration form is opened. The registration form is opened. It is. Now, in the registration form, username, password, confirm password, these are the mandatory fields. Now see, I am going to enter the only first name I entered. This mandatory fields not entered. If I click on submit, what we expect here? No? If you click on the submit, what do you expect here? So unsuccessful registration, right? If I click on the submit, now observe that what is the behavior? Dear Pranav, thank you for registering. What is saying my it is? So it is accepted, no, without enter the mandatory fields. So that is what the defect. That defect one. What is that? Application allowing customer to register without entering mandatory fields. Application allowing customer to register without entering mandatory fields. Right, this is different. Now remember that the goal of test engineer is to identify defects. When those are resolved, the software quality. Goal of test is to identify defects. When those are resolved, then software quality improves. Then software quality improves. Okay. But who has to solve it is the problem you identified. Then who is going to solve it is not by test engineer. Developers are the responsible. So whenever you identify the defect, then we have to report to the developers. We have to report to the developers. Once you report to defects developers, developers are going to do the review on the defects. If developers are accepted your defect, which you identified, then it is called bug it is. What is that bug? What is bug means whenever developers are accepted our defects which are reported. Whenever developers are accepted our defects which are reported, then those are called bugs. Then those are called bugs it is. Whenever developers accept defects, so which are reported, then those are called bugs it is. Right. If they accepted our defects, see, tester point of view, it is deviation, but sometimes it may not be the valid deviation. So if developers once accept our defect which you reported, those one we are going to call bugs it is. Next one, failure. Failure means here, whenever defects are reached to the end user. Whenever defects are reached to the end user. Whenever defects are reached to the end user or client, then it is called failure software. Now I will show one application which is in live Salesforce application. If I go in this Salesforce application, okay, now without enter the username, I enter the only password value. If I click on the login, generally we are expecting error message. Now see, there is no error message displayed here. It is also a defect, but still it is in live Salesforce application. It is not failure software. That means one or two defects are there in the application. It may not going to say failure software. If more number of defects are there, where important business transactions when they are not able to perform, then only it is called failure software. See, failure is not related to the one component or one functionality. Okay, more number of defects, more number of defects will cause the system failure, will cause the system failure as a failure. Understand me? So clear it is. So failure is related to system software, complete software. Defect or bug means one component or one feature is not working, we call it is. So if tester you identified defect or issue or incident or fault, if developers are accepted your defects, developers are accepted your defects, that's called failure. So bugs we are going to call. If more number of defects are there in the application, once you deliver to the client, then they says it is a failure software. That's called failure software. Okay, is it clear, man? Now link has changed. Please get registered. Okay, management given message here. Yes, okay. Now, so management saying that today is the free demo sessions. So tomorrow link is going to be changes. You have to register. Who is going to register for them? They are going to send them another link. Okay. So yesterday I given the numbers to you. Please contact those numbers. They will provide it. Okay. Next concept. Some of the major activities in software company. See, but the fundamentals you should be strong. You should be clear these concepts, right? So not for the interview point of view, it is the first question what I explained difference among the error, defect, bug, and failure. One of the important question true point. But some vocabulary you have to know it is coding. What is the coding means? Writing the programs using either programming or scripting languages. Writing the programs using either programming or scripting languages in order to develop the software. It's called coding. Writing the programs using either programming languages or scripting languages in order to develop the software is called coding. So generally, who is responsible for this? Developers. It is performed by developers. Now come to our diagram here. So here, a software developer will perform coding to, I'm gonna say, I will remove this code where development team will write the programs to develop what software. That is the coding we are going to call coding. After coding, what they do here, that application given to the separate testing team. that application given to the separate testing team. Okay, where separate testing team will go for testing. This is what the software testing we are going to call. Okay. Second thing, what testing? Once software developed, that will be given to separate testing team. That will be given to separate testing team. Separate testing team. Where test engineers will validate application as per client as per client specifications. Whatever client need, as per that client specifications, we are going to the testing, which is called testing here, separate testing team, where they are going to perform. Okay. Now, when we do testing, what is your goal while testing the software? To identify defects. Definitely, while testing the software, there is a possibility we may going to identify some defects. Defects are identified. Defects are identified. Whenever defects are identified, whenever the defects are identified, then test engine is not going to solve the defects. What we have to do, we need to report to the development team. We need to intimate to the developers. So that is the activity which are going to come. Defect reporting. Defect reporting. Okay. Defect reporting means notifying about the defects to developers is called defect reporting. Who is going to perform it is? It is performed by test engineers. You report, you identify defects means we need to intimate to the client. You need to intimate to the developers. That is that notifying about the defects to developers is called defect reporting. It is test engineer's job. It is. After you reported, there is one activity called debugging. What is the meaning of debugging? Analyzing source code of the application. Analyzing source code of the application in order to analyzing source code of the application in order to identify root cause for a defect. So root cause for a defect. So what is that? Now this application allowing user without entering the mandatory fields. There is a defect identified that has to be rectified. In order to rectify it, first of all, developer has to know that where they did a mistake, where they did a mistake while writing the programs. They should know it is right. So that is what we are going to call here. So root cause analysis. Suppose I have something I written in the notepad. I want to take the print. If I go for the print, the printer is not giving the output. Then what will you do? Directly, we are going to call the service person for the printer? No. First of all, we have to know that. So where the problem is, printer problem or papers are available or not, printer power is on or off, that analysis we have to do or not. That is called root cause analysis. Something is not performed well. Why it is not performed? That is root cause analysis. Analyzing source code of the application in order to identify root cause for a defect. That is called debugging. Analyzing source code application in order to identify root cause for defect. Who is the responsible? Not test engineer. It is performed by developers. It is performed by developers. Okay, developers are good. Then we have the fifth activity, bug fixing. Bug fixing means modifying source code of the application. Modifying source code of the application in order to solve the defects. Modifying source code of the application in order to solve the defects. So that is called bug fixing. Modifying source code of the application in order to solve the defects is called bug fixing. Who is responsible? It is performed by developers only. This is the fifth one, right? That is the coding we are going to. So coding, testing, defect reporting, bug fixing, like this major activity. But as a tester, so what are the activities we are going to do as a test engineer? We do testing. That is our job. Then defect reporting. Defect reporting. Now, how to go for testing? Types of software testing. This will be discussed in the tomorrow class. No? So try to register yourself. Already I given the numbers. So tomorrow will continue the session. So it will be 1 hour session, 5:30 to 6:30. I'm going to take the classes. Okay. Try to concentrate. So subject is very clear. So even though you don't have any IT knowledge, you can able to learn, you can able to work as a test engineer with some experience that my subject will be explained to you. So everything will be detailed be explained. Try to focus on the subject. The 70 days of 60 days of 65, 60 days of time, you need to concentrate, everything will be explained in detailed way. Okay. So there is a class for us. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. But tomorrow, once registered, I will go into the debugging performed by developers only, not by testers. No, yes. Okay, is it clear? Any doubts are there for anyone? Okay. Okay, then. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.